creepypastas are, but for people that don't know what creepypastas are, similar to SCP, it's just a repository of stories and whatnot, and none of them are true. I think some of them are touted as true. If you go here, I think they have categories which they're in, and some of them are allegedly based on true stories, but for the most part, they're all fiction.
Allegedly,
yeah, allegedly, unless they're like SCP, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of creepypastas, they could be about just general things in life, like, oh, I saw a stranger on the street and he did some weird shit or whatever. The creepypastas that I really like to delve into are video game creepypastas, maybe like a TV show creepypasta here or there, and in those, it's possibly one of the lamest things you could ever read in your life, man. Like, you read it, it's like, man, these kids, we don't condone bullying, not at all. But these kids probably may have gotten bullied because they wrote Sonic.exe, and I'm not saying it was right, but it happened. Damn, we're gonna get canceled already. This sucks, but I don't mean to judge anybody that likes Sonic.exe, because here's the thing, man. These kids, they just want to write like their funny stories and stuff like that. I used to write Dragon Ball Z fan fiction. Like, I mean, who am I to say anything? My first email address was?
No.
I didn't make it.
Oh, okay.
But it was Dragon Ball _Chris.
It's pretty standard.
At hotmail.com.
That's fair. That's not too bad, to be honest.
Dragon Ball Chris. Yeah. Do you remember your first email?
I still have my first email now.
What's your first email?
My first email is...
Well, I mean, you don't have to. Oh. For confidential.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'll tell you off air then.
All right.
But I still have my first email.
Is it just your name?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's
No, you don't have to.
It's some of the edgiest thing I came up with back in middle school, and I've kept it up until now.
Dude, all right, so mine was also, I also had Anime Fan.
Oh. I mean, that's still pretty. That's pretty good.
Pretty fucking lame, dude.
I mean, that's pretty fair though, as standard.
I would have bullied me.
It wasn't some made up shit. Like, I literally made up my email name, and that's why it's also a Gmail. So it was one of the first Gmails. So I was invited to have, because remember back then you had to be invited to make a Gmail, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So my math teacher, he was all into Google, and he got everyone in the class invitations to get a Gmail.
Oh.
And I came up with some of the edgiest shit for that email, and I've kept it up until now. That's what I use for all of my personal and professional emails for.
Jesus Christ.
Up until now.
So you've committed to the bit.
I've committed to the bit. But I love it though, because whenever I tell people my email, they're like, "Oh, there's no number in there," because it's just all letters. It's like a normal, quote-unquote normal name. Yeah, it's no underscore, no numbers. It's just a name.
That's impressive
because it's an original email that was made in 2007. Yeah, 07 or 08.
1 second. Oh, I heard it. It's actually it's a little impressive. I gotta say, maybe not to apply to a job for, but
I've gotten jobs with the email before. So
oh, okay.
I've committed to this email.
You've committed to the bit hard.
Like I've gotten every job I've had was to this email.
Really,
and I haven't failed. The only reason why I either not got a job because I blew the interview, or I just wasn't qualified.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, nobody probably gives us that much of a shit about your email,
though. So I'm still
wrong. No. All right. So here's the thing: to people who haven't heard it, it's pretty. It's a lot more tame than you would think it is.
It is named after a Bionicle.
That's so. If you've never seen any of the Bionicle commercials, probably just YouTube Bionicle Move Along, and you'll see what we saw. And it's I can just tell you it's worth it. So
that was an amazing era.
It was an era. There was an era involved. So anyway, we spoke about creepypastas a little bit. So I think we're just gonna do a full reading of Sonic.exe, and I think that's the best way to just dive in head first and get to see some of the worst that creepypasta has to offer, or best, depending on what you're.
I mean, these are ranked apparently, so I don't know how they rank them.
Yeah, so what a way to start. So if you want to know more about Sonic.exe, feel free to look on YouTube, because there is a full video of which I'm sure you've seen.
No, yeah, I've never experienced Sonic.exe.
Oh, you've never experienced it at all?
Yeah.
There's a YouTube video that actually shows what's going on in the game.
Oh, really? That like it breaks it down?
No, it's like a ROM hack or whatever of Sonic.exe, and it goes through. Well, you're gonna see. As you can see, Sonic's eyes are bleeding and whatnot. So there's things going on here that did not happen in the real Sonic game. I mean, you might not believe it, but Sonic never looked like this in the real Sonic game, the original Sega game.
I can imagine not.
So somebody took the onus upon themselves to make that a reality. So like this story really needed to see the light of day. So
I mean, a story had to be told.
It's a story, a tale as old as time. So anyway, so they kind of put some pretext here. So here's the actual creepypasta story. I'm a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. I already have a problem with that, but I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. I don't think I've ever played glitchy or hacked games before, though I don't think I would want to play any after the experience I had. Well, that's already a spoiler. Like he's already proved his safety in this. It all started on a nice summer afternoon. I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I liked how you got to explore the towns in it, until I noticed out of my peripheral vision that the mailman had arrived and put something in my mailbox as usual and left. I paused my game to go see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the mailbox was a CD case for computers and a note. I took it inside. I looked at the notes first and realized it was from my dear friend Kyle. Let's just call him that. whom I haven't heard from in 2 weeks. I know that because I recognize his handwriting. Out of everybody in the world, I'm sure people have like somewhat comparable handwriting, you know. Though what was weird is how it looked. It looked badly written and scratchy, and was somewhat difficult to read, as if Kyle was having a hard time writing it down and did it in a hurry. This is what he wrote. Tom, you be Kyle.
Tom, I can't take it anymore. I have to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late. And I was hoping you'd do it for me. I can't do it. He's after me. And if you don't destroy the CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast. He's too fast for me.
He's too fast.
What?
Oh, he's too fast.
Oh, I just got it. Oh my God. I just got that. Please, Tom, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. It's too late for me. Destroy the disc and it'll destroy him. But do it quick. Otherwise, he'll catch you. Don't even play the game. It's what he wants. Just destroy it. Please, Kyle.
Well, that was certainly weird. Even though Kyle is my best friend and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, I didn't do what he asked me. I didn't think that a simple gaming disc would do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. Anyway, I looked at the disc and it was like an ordinary computer CDR disc, except it had a black marker written on it, Sonic.exe. And it was much like Kyle's handwriting, meaning that he must have gotten it from somebody else, like a pawn shop or eBay. When I saw Sonic on the writing of the CD, I was actually excited and I wanted to play it since I'm a big Sonic fan, as I mentioned before. As everyone is.
Yeah.
Much like everybody else, he is a big Sonic fan. I went up to my room and turned my computer on and put the disc in and installed the game. When the title screen who puts a disc in their computer from an anonymous source and runs an exe file?
I've seen hentai with that premise before.
Oh, God.
But yeah,
bad idea from both of those people.
Honestly, yeah, bad idea. I mean, I don't think curiosity is enough to even put that idea in my head.
Dude, I could get a paid version of a top tier antivirus program. I would not. I mean, I wouldn't even run that on a virtual box, man. Like that's a bad idea. So yeah, if you run into any sketchy exe files, viewer, we still have one, so he's still here. Don't run exe files that you don't trust.
Or any 64-bit Windows disks that just written on there, 64-bit Windows 7 or 10.
Or Sonic.exe.
Or Sonic.exe.
So I went up to my room and I turned my computer and put the disc in and installed the game. When the title screen popped up, I noticed it was like the first Sonic game. I was like, awesome. Because, like I said earlier, I like the classics. The first thing I noticed that was out of place when I pressed start, there was a split second I saw the title image turn something much different, something I now consider horrifying before cutting to black. I remember what the image looked like in that split second before the game cut to black. The sky had darkened, the title emblem was rusted and ruined. The Sega 1991 was now instead Sega 666, and the water had turned red like blood. Except, all right, this is a thing that happens in creepypastas. If I had a bottle of fucking tequila here, we're gonna take a shot every time it says hyper realistic. And I swear to God, you'll probably be dead before the story ends.
Jesus.
Dude, they love hyper realistic things in video games. Whether it's Mario, Sonic, dude, Mario's like got hyper realistic blood gouging out of his eyes, or Sonic's got hyper realistic.
What does that even mean in the context of the story? Like, it just looks real?
Let's Google it. Yeah. Hyper realistic Sonic.
So the Sonic movie?
Oh, so just the Sonic movie. I guess it already exists. Never mind. It's not as spooky as I expected it to be.
I mean, a few years too late, but yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem that bad.
Cool. So yeah, Sega 666. So but the freakiest thing was that in split second frame with Sonic, his eyes are pitch black and bleeding from two glowing red dots staring right at me. And his smile is stretched wider to the edge of his face. I was rather disturbed about that image when I saw it, though I'd figured out it was just a glitch and forgot about it. After it cut to black, it stayed like that for about 10 seconds or so. And then another weird thing happened. The save file from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up. I was like, WTF? What's this doing in the first Sonic game? This is the scariest thing so far. The Sonic 1, in Sonic 1, the Sonic 3 save file select popped up.
Continuity errors. That's definitely scary.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Anyway, then I noticed something off. The background was in dark, cloudy sky of the bad Stardust Speedway level from Sonic CD, and there were only 3 save files. The music was that of creepy Caverns of Winter music from Earthbound, only it was extended and seemed to have been in reverse.
You can pick it up like that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, if I played you any sort of song in reverse, would you be able to identify that song?
No.
I would not
at all.
Not at all.
Especially, like, it's also extended, too, so it's probably, like, slowed and reversed. Like, how you can just tell, right? Like that, like, oh, boom, that's an Earthbound song, but it happens to be in reverse and stretched. What?
Dude, and the other thing about all these creepypastas is most of these people can only write stories in terms of video games. Like, they only can make comparisons as far as video games. Like,
I see what you mean.
It's not like any real life experience because like they're like 13 years old. They're writing these stories, so it's like, oh, it's the creepy Caverns of Winter music from Earthbound. And the image for the save file where you see a preview of the level you're on is just red static for all 3 files. What freaked me out is more was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik. Now I was sure something was up. I mean, how can you play Robotnik in a classic Sonic game, for crying out loud? For crying out loud! That's when I realized this was not a glitchy game. This was a hack game, Joe Mel. Yeah, it definitely looked hacked. It was really creepy. But as a smart gamer, I wasn't scared. Or at least I tried not to be. I told myself it was just a hack game and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyways, shaking off the creeped out feeling, I picked filed 1 and chose Tails. And when I got selected and got started, the The game froze for about 5 seconds, and I heard a creepy pixelated laugh that sounded an awful lot like that Kefka guy from Final Fantasy before cutting to black. The creepy Kefka laugh. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more, and then it showed the typical level title thing, except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, and the text only showed Hill, Act 1. No Green Hill.
I hate that I can actually picture all of this happening in my head right now. Like he tells the story so simply,
so vividly.
Yeah, so simply and so vividly. I can see it. I can really see it and like play out in my head. And it's like we're in the corniest thing you could think of.
It's the corniest, but you've got to give him some props for his storytelling ability because it really feels like I'm in Sonic.exe right now.
Like I feel like I'm really in 2013 right now.
Yeah,
it definitely has.
This, I think this is older than 2013. I know it said 2013 on the on the thing, but I think this is from earlier.
Wow.
But yeah, I can't knock his storytelling. The music was different though. It sounded like a peaceful melody in reverse, dude. Anyway, I started playing. And had Tails start running like you would in any of those classic Sonic games. He does like to run. What was odd was that Tails was running along the level there, and there's nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. So minutes in text sound like it's not very long. If we stayed silent for 5 minutes, this is how long he held the right button for. Who has that fucking testicular fortitude to hold the button right for 5 minutes straight and not like, I don't think there's anything to this game. Like,
or we moved to a new, like different save file, or even restarted because you think it was like broken or some shit.
Or a different character or whatever. He has other options. He doesn't have to keep running right.
Because 5 minutes is actually a long time.
It's
just
long
sitting
time.
in front of a screen with like a controller in your hand.
Yeah.
You know?
That's wild, dude. So what was odd, other than the flat ground, peaceful music, started to lower down into slow, deep tones very slowly as I kept going. I suddenly saw something, and I stopped to see what it was. It was one of those small animals lying dead on the ground, bleeding. That's when the music started to slow down. Tails had a shocked and sad look on his face that I never saw him have before, so I had him move along. And he kept that worried look on his face. As he kept moving along, just like he knows you do, I saw more dead animals as Tails moved past them, looking more and more worried as the music lowers and he moves past more dead animals. I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed them in rather gruesome ways. A squirrel was hanged on a tree with what appeared to be his entrails hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs torn off, and a duck had his eyes gouged out and his throat slit. I felt sick to my stomach. Wait, are these pixelated?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, they're just pixelated ducks and shit?
I would assume so, yeah. It was like, you were talking about the classic Sonic games.
Yeah.
There's got to be pixelated animals.
Yeah, I didn't know. I had to look real quick to make sure they didn't mention any hyper-realistic ducks. So, I felt sick to my stomach, and I saw this massacre, and apparently so did Tails. God, after a few more seconds, there were no more animals, and the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails to continue. After a minute passed and the music stopped, Tails was running up a hill, and then he stopped. It wasn't until I saw why. Sonic was there on the other side of the screen with his back against Tails with his eyes closed. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smile faltered, obviously noticing that Sonic wasn't responding to him, if not acting as if he was totally oblivious of Tails' presence. Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make him move. So this had to be a cutscene. Suddenly, I began to have a growing feel of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger and something bad was going to happen. I heard faint static growing louder as Tails was but inches away from Sonic and stopped and stuck his hand out to touch him. That foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to tell Tails, "Get away from Sonic!" As the static grew louder. Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open, and they were black with those red glowing dots, just like the title image. Though thought there wasn't a smile. When that happened, the screen turned black and the static sound was off. It stayed black for about 7 seconds. He counted. And then white text appeared, forming a message saying, "Hello, do you want to play with me?" At this point, I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue the game, but my curiosity got the better of me. Also something you can take shots for. Seriously.
The curiosity
curiosity got the best of me. Curiosity got the better of me. Dude, every one of these creepypastas, they're all written by different people. They all have the same fucking things that they say. Hyperrealism, curiosity got the best of me. It happens once a story. When I was taken to a different level, so curiosity got the best of me when I was taken to the different level with the level title now saying hide and seek. Hide and seek sucks on a 2D plane. This time I was on Angel Island level from Sonic 3 and it looked like everything was on fire. Tail looked as though he was scared out of his wits at this time. He actually looked at me and made frantic gestures to me as he wanted to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. I was starting to get freaked out by this. I mean, Tails was actually breaking the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get out of there, get him out of there. So I pressed down the arrow key as hard as I could and made him run as fast as he could. A pixelated version of that crappy theme when you meet Shadow at the Ark as robot. Dude, who knows this fucking reference?
That's a specific Sonic reference.
Dude, I mean, like everybody else, like he's a huge Sonic fan, so like everybody knows that. So you remember when you met Shadow at the Ark as Robotnik from SA2, Sonic Adventure 2, when it was playing as he made Tails trek through the desolate forest trying to help him escape from whatever he was trying to run from. Suddenly, I heard that creepy laugh again, that awful Kefka laugh, right after 10 seconds had passed, as I helped Tails run through the forest. And then I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping up everywhere on the screen, again with those black and red eyes. The music has changed to that suspenseful drowning jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails slowly gaining up on him, flying. Sonic wasn't running. He was actually flying. The flying pose in his sprite looked very familiar, similar to Metal Sonic's flying pose in Sonic CD. Except it was just Sonic, and he had the black and red eyes again. Only this time, he had the most deranged-looking grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving the poor little fox as he gave up on him. How are you liking this so far?
This definitely makes me miss this era.
Yeah, I mean,
I can see it all, I can see it all in my head. It's playing in my head, and I'm admittedly I'm invested now. I'm invested into this. I don't know why I didn't bother reading this years ago.
Dude, that's the thing is like these are some of the worst stories known to man, but you can't help but get a little bit invested.
Yeah, like curiosity got the better.
Curiosity got the best of you, man. That's the problem. So, another cutscene. I hate all those cutscenes in Sonic game.
Right.
Suddenly, when Tails tripped, another cutscene, the music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails laid there and started crying for 15 seconds. This kid fucking times everything. Mm-hmm. The scene was rather upsetting to watch, and I kind of teared up myself. But then Sonic appeared right in front of Tails, and Tails looked up in horror. Blood started to come down those blackened eyes as Sonic, his grin slowly grew from his face. As he looked down at the horrified fox, I could do nothing but watch. Just in a split second, Sonic lunged at Tails right before the screen went black. There was a loud screeching noise that only lasted 5 seconds. The text returned this time. It said, "You're too slow. Want to try again?" And that god-awful laugh, that fucking Kefka laugh, came with it. I was so shocked by what happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, he couldn't have. He and Tails are supposed to be best friends, right? Why did Sonic do that to him? I shook the shock off as I brought back to the character select. The save file that had Tails was different. Tails is no longer in the box itself, but in the TV screen itself, which was flickering with that red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding. His orange fur has gone black, and an expression of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I played Knuckles next. the laugh came again, and the screen cut to black again and stayed there for another 10 seconds. This time, the level said, "You can't run." I was really freaked out by now. I couldn't really tell if this was a glitch or a hack or some kind of sick, twisted joke or anything really. But despite my fear of what happened next, I kept playing. How did he fear what happened next without knowing?
I mean, it's probably one of those like anxiety things where, he already went through he already went through Tails' death.
Yeah.
So maybe he's afraid of it might happen again with Knuckles.
Yeah, I mean they're not real. Does he know that?
True, he is oddly attached to these characters for the video game.
Does he like this isn't even canon? Like like in his universe, this isn't even canon. Like Sonic 1 and Sonic 3 are canon. Mm-hmm. I mean Sonic 2 as well, but like he only mentioned those two. But and like CD. Sonic CD, those are canon. This is not canon. So like why is he this invested in? I
don't know. Kyle was one that sent it to him, so he probably has to investigate it.
Yeah, fucking Kyle, dude.
For as a Sonic fan, as the biggest Sonic fan.
Yeah, everybody's Sonic fans.
Oh yeah.
You didn't read? Did you not read the first part of the story?
True.
Anyway, the next level looked much different. It had the ground of Scrap Brain Zone. I didn't play far enough in Sonic to know what that means.
Same.
But the sky background looked like the main menu. It had the dark reddish cloudy sky, but it was the music that creeped me out the most. It sounded like Geiger's theme right after you beat Pokey in Earthbound.
Very specific. Yeah. Very specific.
He's played 3 games, dude. This is what I've gathered. He's played Sonic, Final Fantasy, and Earthbound. Oh, man, what kind of mashup is this? So I noticed that Knuckles looked afraid just like Tails did, though not as much. Rather, he looked a little more unnerved. He broke the 4th wall just like Tails and looked as he wasn't sure what's going on. I made him move anyway. He ran down the straight pathway in this dark level, and as he did, the screen started to flicker red, static a couple times, and then that maddening laugh came again. Then after a few seconds of running, I noticed several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible is going to happen to Knuckles. He looked nauseated walking down this blood-stained road, but I still kept him going. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of him with those black and red eyes, and then red static appeared again. When the static vanished, showing nothing but black screen with text saying, "Found you," in alternating caps. I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already? What was going on? Anyway, red static came again, and I was back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time, that high-pitched squealing from the Silent Hills 1's final boss was playing.
That's 4 games now.
Oh man! At least he plays the classics, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know any of these references? Have you played Earthbound, Final Fantasy, or do you know the Kefka laugh?
No. My only reference so far that I've gotten has been the Silent Hill one.
All right, so you've heard the Silent Hill final boss theme before. Mm. How is it?
About the same as what he was describing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Was this some kind of boss battle with Sonic? I hope to God it wasn't. He even put a capital G on it. Like he was actually praying in this moment.
Details.
Suddenly, Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles in what appeared to be pixelated black smoke. I made Knuckles turn and then punch Sonic, but Sonic vanished in black pixelated smoke before I could even land a hit. That terrible laugh went off again. Then Sonic appeared behind Knuckles again, and I made him punch again. Then Sonic vanished again laughing. Knuckles was panicking even more, and even I felt like I was going crazy. Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing a sick, twisted little mind game with me and Knuckles. Another cutscene played as Knuckles fell to his knee and clutched his head, sobbing. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving us both crazy. And then in a split second, Sonic lunged at Knuckles, and the screen went black with another distorted screeching noise that lasted for at least 3 seconds. Another text message appeared. So many souls to play with, so little time. Would you agree? What the hell? just what is going on? I started to dude, he's been asking the same shit. He's like, now I'm starting to get scared. Now, 5 minutes later, I'm still starting to get scared. Exactly 76 seconds later, I'm getting a little more scared now.
He's had plenty of chances to turn back at this point.
Dude, just turn the console off, man.
Yeah, or take a discount.
Curiosity just keeps getting the best of them, though.
That's true.
So, I mean, just like us, we have to keep pursuing.
Yeah.
I was brought back to the main menu. Is that where we're at? No, what the hell? Just what is going on? I started to think Sonic was actually trying to talk to me through the game, but I was too scared to think that. I was brought back to the main menu, and this time the second file box had Knuckles in the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to a reddish gray. His dreadlocks were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding too. And he had a look of sadness on his face. I began to think that there are actual characters trapped in those TV screens on the save files, but I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. So I shut off the game and took a break. I took a nap, which I wish I hadn't, because I then began to have the most disturbing nightmare. I was in pitch black darkness, though I was under the light given off by a lamp that hung high above my head. I could hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. They were saying stuff like, "Help us," and "Why did you give us to him?" and "Run away before he gets you too." Their cries died out as I heard Sonic laugh, his laugh. It sounded a lot like the distorted Kefka laugh.
I want to know what the Kefka laugh sounds like now.
If I had an audio mixer, I would play it. But we'll save that for episode 2.
Yeah.
So you're a lot of fun to play with, kid. Just like your friend Kyle, though he didn't last long. Wait, was he fucking him?
I mean,
he didn't last long.
No.
Oh no, Sonic the succubus or the incubus.
Yeah.
Oh, this is taking a very dark turn. All the characters in this story are above the age of 18.
That wasn't really a question in my head, but yeah, we'll disclose that right now.
I was scared and looking around for the source of the voice. Won't be long until you join him and my other friends. I saw him walking towards me, flickering in and out in several directions. You can't run, kid. You're in my world now, just like the others. When he grabbed me, I saw a bleeding, black and red-eyed, grinning face. I woke up with a fright.
What is this, a Christmas?
The Monster Mash.
Yeah, exactly.
After a couple of hours, I decided to continue playing the game. I don't know why, but I had to know. I had to figure out why this was happening. So I turned on the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik next. I still thought that was wacky, playing as Robotnik. But anyway, the level title appeared again, and this time it said ... which I found really freaky. This time I was in some kind of hallway. Didn't really look like it from any of the classic Sonic games. So it was it had the pixelated style. The floor was shiny as checkered. The walls were dark grayish purple with animated candle lights and a few dark bloodstains here and there. And there was a dark red curtain hanging above the top part of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, that red curtain sways very slowly. Dude, I like how he says every 12 seconds or so.
It's like he's counting frames. What the fuck?
Yeah, like every 12 seconds or so. It could be 10. It could be 14. But, like, here's the thing. Why not just say every 10 seconds or so? Like, why even say the amount of seconds?
Yeah,
this guy is so hung up.
I've been kind of like having that thought in my head. Like, just say like, a few seconds or some seconds have passed. Like, you're very specific in terms of like how long time has passed. Like, you're really counting the seconds here.
Yeah. Like I mean, just say after a little bit, like he started doing this. I mean, but like, you don't even have to say the amount of time that's elapsed. You can just say like, yeah, then this happened.
Yeah.
Like
other ways to transition into that, or transition of time passing,
Yeah, but I mean, at least you can conceptualize okay, so here's the thing. You're writing this story. You're writing this story. You say every 12 seconds or so. I'm sorry that we're getting hung up on this, But
it happens a lot in this.
But
story.
it happens so often. And he said, you made this up. You don't have to say every 12 seconds. Just say like every 12 seconds. Have some fucking fortitude, man.
Just own up to it.
Own up to it.
That's true.
This is your story.
It has been like that for a little bit. This is the only time where he was like kind of wishy-washy on the amount of seconds. So.
He's like, well, it wasn't hard-coded.
Yeah.
So every 12 seconds or so, that red curtain sways very slowly. But whenever you're playing the game, you could barely see it move. The music was oddly pleasant. A piano playing a rather sad yet peaceful song. But I knew better. This was the song that played in Hill Act 1, only it wasn't in reverse.
I mean, I think you could tell if it wasn't in reverse.
My goodness. You can tell. I think you can tell more when songs are in reverse than the actual songs themselves.
Yeah.
Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous as Tails and Knuckles did, but he did have a suspicious look on his face as if he was just a bit paranoid. He did a little animation when I just left him standing. He turns his head to the left and then to the right at least twice, and then shrugs at me as if he has no idea where he was or what was going on. Even though I was scared out of my mind of what was going to happen, I had Robotnik continue onwards. He did his usual running animation. You know, when you've beaten him at the end of a classic Sonic game and you chase him. You know, as we continued going through the hallway. Then I stop at a long Dude, why does he just assume that, like, you know this shit? Oh, okay, so, all right, granted, you are reading a Sonic fucking fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he does have a good...
Like a base.
Yeah,
audience.
a base to realize.
You'd have to be a Sonic fan to be able to want to read this out of curiosity.
But also a Final Fantasy and a Silent Hill and Earthbound fan.
True, but you know that's sort of a natural surprise that he kind of puts in there.
It in. Sprinkles some festivities in life. So you know when you've beaten him. Then I stop at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous. He's been nervous this whole time, dude. Even though Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, though I pressed onward. As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed that the walls have gotten darker and more reddish. The red torches are now an eerie blue. Then we landed onto another hallway. This one was longer than the last one, or at least it felt like it. And then we headed down towards another flight of stairs. This one was much longer. It took at least 1 full minute. Then I heard that horrid Kefka laugh again, and the music slowly faded until it was quiet. As it did, the walls turned more dark red, and the torches were black flame now. Instead of dark red, he could just say, like, crimson. There's, like, colors in the fucking wheel for that.
And it'd be kind of more, you know, it'd be cooler to, like, read.
Switch it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could say dark red, and then you could say crimson in other places, or, like, some other Crayola colors even. Like, brick red,
or even like I don't know, like some like ruby red, you know, some again fancy with it, you know.
Yeah.
Or blood red if you want to make it directly, you know.
Blood. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm sure that's a color. Maybe not in Crayola. That's in the 18 plus Crayola.
Yeah.
Selection. Maybe we can have an episode where we just talk about all the different Crayola colors and
just rank each one.
Yeah, like the 256 pack.
Ooh, I've never had one of those as a kid. The most I've ever owned or was bought was a 64 pack. So middle class, I can only afford.
I think I've had like the 128 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Why are they all like? Why are they all like bits?
What do you mean?
Like there's like 32-bit, 64-bit, 128,
right.
254. I think there's a 254 pack.
Because it's 8, then 16, then 32.
I mean, I guess it's just the way that they row them out.
Probably, because it does get wider.
Boxes,
because it's still 2 rows sometimes or 3 rows.
No, I mean, there's sometimes they're thick boys. They're never just 2 rows. Because I mean that shit would you want 200.
That's true.
We gotta need to get a new angle for that one.
Yeah, I mean, you become again in the school like a boss though.
Yeah,
you have the 256 count. You know, like a fucking like a big old 2x4 plank, you know?
Yeah, dude. But here's the thing: like you're still using the same 8 colors most likely.
Yeah,
still using like you look at all of them; they're all pristine except for red or something that's just fucking.
And you had like the
random down to a stump.
And you had like the random 8 shades of white.
Yeah,
as well, which you don't even use.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I think I've used white crayons a couple times, but like, you're right, it is very few and far between. I mean, they're just some colors just don't need to be used, and I mean, I think you realize that once you get like a 128 pack of Crayolas.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
the choices start becoming a little more. I don't know. It seems redundant after a while.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
As far as blues are concerned, I'm a stan of Team Cerulean.
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 An actual.
It's a Crayola color. I will never. I will never forget it because it's a great blue.
Oh, okay.
It's a deep blue, like the chess computer.
Right. That sounds pretty.
Yeah, Cerulean.
I'm more of a Granny Smith apple green.
My man, Granny. I fucking hate that color.
Do you?
No, seriously. I would always. That would be the least used Crayola crayon.
That'd be the one that was so sharp.
Seriously, that thing was fucking sharp to a point, man. Dude, you had to fucking scribble it so hard just to get any fucking use out of it. It just didn't have enough pungency.
Yeah, it was definitely in like the lighter shades of green. You know,
yeah,
like almost not neon, but it was very up there when it comes to light, like how light it was in color.
Yeah, it was just so unappealing.
I don't know, it just looked delicious. That's why, because that's named after the apple. I'm gonna assume, right? The Granny Smith apple.
So you used to fucking eat crayons, man.
I mean, I didn't.
Have you ever eaten a crayon?
No, I smelled them because I always love the smell of the wax.
Yeah, I've taken a bite out of it.
Was it as you expected it, like just waxy?
It is exactly as you'd expect it.
Makes sense.
Very unlike Play-Doh. Have you eaten Play-Doh? Have you ever tasted Play-Doh?
No, I just smelled it.
It's the saltiest thing on earth.
Like a fresh pack of Play-Doh, or just
Play-Doh in general. It doesn't have to be fucking fresh. So the salt in it doesn't stop being salty.
I mean, I just want to know if it's salted by default. Also.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't like entropy until the fucking salt disappears from it. Like
salty. That's probably the least.
It's so salty, dude. It blows my mind that fucking child Jomel never tasted Play-Doh.
No,
that like blows my fucking mind.
I didn't eat a whole lot of things. It's like I just ate normal food. I wasn't that curious to eat other things.
I'm glad.
So I smelled a lot of things. That's about it. So I tried to differentiate smells, or just I don't know. I was just curious of what something smelled.
Yeah. You know? Do you ever eat grass?
Eat grass?
Yeah.
No.
Dude, what kind of fucking kid were you, man?
I rolled in the grass. I was, all up in it.
No, I'm sure you did, but like, even accidentally. I mean, I don't understand what situation would be where you accidentally eat grass.
I mean, unless you're pretending to be a goat or something. The authenticity, or I don't know if you're playing pretend.
I mean, but curiosity has gotten to have the best of you at some point.
Yeah, for kid Jomel. No, I was a very practical kid.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was the type of kid, I just want to know how the world works, man. And it's like, what does grass taste like? Dude, like, there's times in my life where I'll be like, dude, this tastes like a leaf. And it's like, how do you know what a leaf tastes like? I was like, how do you not know what a fucking leaf tastes like?
Well, see, here's the thing. I can kind of tell those things just by how they smell. Like, okay, if I smell something, I can kind of associate with taste. I'm like, all right.
Play-Doh, though.
That was I was not expecting.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, you don't know unless you taste it.
Exactly. I smelled it, but I never thought of it to be salty.
Exactly. But you go up to a young maple leaf, maybe it tastes a little different. But I don't know, man. Like, I think that the leaf tastes. Here's the thing. All leaves are different. I'm not going to act like I'm a fucking botanist, but...
Right. I don't think... Well, I don't know if botanists really take it to that degree, do they?
Do they? I don't know.
Do botanists, like, eat the plants that they discover or they look into? That's a serious question I'm asking.
I don't know. I guess it depends on the type of botanist that you are.
That's true.
Like, if you are a botanist for carrots, if you're a carrotist, then you probably eat your carrots.
I was thinking more of agriculture at that point.
I don't really. I'm gonna be real with you. I know botanists are about like plant life and whatnot. I don't think they're about. I don't really know what a botanist is. You got me. Fucking.
I mean, I don't think it was. I mean, other than the fact that they study plants, I think that's about as most as what common knowledge can give us.
Yeah,
I mean, really look into it.
Yeah, I mean, like we need a botanist on here to really set the record straight for them.
I mean, to be fair, the only botanist that I know of is the botanist that fucking Matt Damon played in The Martian.
That
he played a botanist in that movie.
okay, that reference laid very.
If we're laying out specific references, I'm putting that out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, you should write a creepypasta about that.
But
This reminds me of right when Matt Damon played a botanist.
He was a botanist that got stuck on Mars and in The Martian, the movie or the book.
It was a very boring stay, I bet.
On Mars,
there's not a whole lot there.
There's not a whole lot, but he was a botanist, so he grew his own food and shit. That's how he survived for the most part.
In Martian soil.
Yep.
Wow, man.
Well, he was able to mix up whatever he had in the camp or the little lab area, and then mix it in with the Martian soil, and was able to grow potatoes.
Ain't that some shit? Huh.
Things are starting to get really scary.
Yeah, fuck. That's why I had to talk about something else.
Yeah.
I can't just read this front to back. Dude, never mind. I can't read this. He's talking about that horrible Kefka laugh again. I think I looked it up. I think it's like.
So just imagine that just distorted. I guess, right?
I guess. I mean, it's pixelated, so.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, not pixelated. You can't pixelate a laugh.
I mean, like it can be. What is it? Not distorted. There's another word for it. I feel like there's another word for it instead of distortion.
Like 8-bit.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like it's like really glitchy.
Yeah,
sounding.
yeah. So something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of the audio files can know what I'm talking about.
But like that laugh was already, or I don't know if it was like fine. I don't know what's fine. Fuck this stupid story. I'm not talking about this anymore. I'm gonna keep reading. So he's climbing downstairs. He heard the Kefka laugh. Walls turned red. When Robotnik landed onto the third hallway, I noticed I love the details. I noticed how he looked really creeped out, though he tried to hide it. I couldn't blame him. I was scared too. Suddenly, Sonic popped out in front of Robotnik the same way he did as Knuckles. Well, I can't read, man. Suddenly, Sonic popped out right in front of Robotnik the same way as he did Knuckles, and then red static. The red static lasted for about 15 seconds and then showed a most unpleasant image. The image showed a hyper-realistic of Sonic standing in the darkness. This guy right here.
There we go.
This is who he saw.
Meow.
The image showed a hyper-realistic of Sonic standing in the darkness where you can only see his face while his head and torso faded into black. And when I say hyper-realistic, I mean he looked so real. Like you could actually see the lines in his blue fur. As you could actually feel the fur if you touched the screen.
Oh, shit.
His face, oh God. He had the most horrifying smile you've ever seen. And that's saying something, considering I saw that image at the start of the game. His eyes were wide and black, and once again crying blood, which also looked hyper-realistic. And there were two small glowing red dots in his black eyes staring right at me, as if staring into my mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the side of his face like a Cheshire cat, except Sonic had fangs, very sharp fangs, much like of the werehog's teeth, except more. I don't know what the fuck that is, dude.
He's very descriptive. I'll give him that. He's very descriptive for what he's trying to give us.
Yeah.
But like we gotta know what these things are.
Dude, it's like this kid is the only, he's writing this for only himself.
Yeah.
He is the only demographic for this story. You need such a burden of knowledge to understand all these references. They're so specific too. Like these obviously are things that have all stood out in his mind from time.
Mm-hmm. Someone needs to make a Sonic.exe version of that movie Sonic. If someone hasn't done it already, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a Sonic.exe game and stuff like that. So
no, I'm talking about like the someone needs to make something out of the hyper-realistic movie version. Just as an image. Like someone's gonna Photoshop that shit into the hyper-realistic Sonic. We've all been waiting for
this fucking golden boy right here.
Exactly.
I stared at the gruesome image for wait. Very sharp fangs, much like the werehog's teeth, except more vicious looking, somewhat yellowish, and from the look of it, he had stains of blood and small bits of flesh on his lips and fangs as if he ate some animal. I mean, it's probably those rabbits and shit.
I mean, yeah.
I stared at the gruesome image for a good 30 seconds.
It's a long time.
Never taking my eyes off of it. I felt as if he was actually looking at me, smiling at me. That face. It took 10 seconds for it to etch into itself into my brain for good. Then the screen flickered with the red static again 3 times. And on the 3rd time, I heard the Kefka laugh, except this time it sounded distorted, demonic even. I went to the image again, and this time there were text again. Though it was messed up, but it pretty much was one of the most horrifying things I looked at since I had this game. I am God, said Sonic. It was then when I read while looking at Sonic when it hit me, I realized right then and there that this Sonic was a monster, pure evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented monster. And all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and possibly Kyle, are just his little toys. And the game is the very gateway into his chaotic, nightmarish world and the very hell his victims are trapped in. Suddenly, in an actual split second, I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screeching loudly with his mouth wide open to an unnatural length, revealing nothing but a literally spiraling abyss of pure darkness before the red static came again. This time, much louder and distorted, so loud that it hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds, and then it stopped and showed nothing but black screen. As I sat there staring at the black screen, one last text came up. Ready for round 2, Tom? His name is Tom. Did you know his name is Tom?
Yeah.
Did it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the letter also, like, referred to Kyle's letter.
My attention to detail isn't as good.
And with a story like this, it's very...
With stories like this, like...
Yeah, it's very hard to, like, get out of something so deep and detailed.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
the Kefka laugh now sounding more clear as if Sonic was right behind me. Played again 3 times as I looked at the text in shock and confusion. Then I got booted back to the main menu, and at this time, the 3rd save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the name, and in the same tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik's skin turned a dull gray, his mustache drooped and had blackened. His glasses broke and blood is coming from them, and he had a mere dead-like expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and I cried a bit. I pitied them for the agony they're going through. They were forever trapped within the game, forever tormented by that horrid hedgehog, and will always be. They were trapped in the game in regular Sonic too.
I think the real question is, wouldn't Kyle be the actual victim in this case?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle's dead, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Why is he so invested in these pixelated these sprites? He pities like fucking game sprites. What the fuck?
Dude, Dr. Robotnik, he's the real victim in this bad boy.
Kyle's
dead, bro. Kyle's fucking legit dead as fuck.
Like I'm mad I got so invested in this, and I had to step back sometimes. Like, wait, these are still sprite characters.
Yeah, you gotta reel it back.
Like, Kyle's dead. We have an actual victim here. Kyle just died, and you're still playing this godforsaken game.
And none of those tears are for Kyle. And not any of those. Him crying a bit is for his buddy, his best friend. This is his best friend.
Yeah. He is his best friend after all.
Dude.
And he didn't shed one tear for him. But no, Robotnik, Tails, Knuckles, they're the real victims in this story.
Dude, I wonder if Pixelated Kyle, well, I mean, this does, there's a sequel to Sonic.exe, but
what?
We'll leave that for another time entirely. Computer shut off. I couldn't turn my back on. Forever tormented. Then the computer shut off. I couldn't turn it back on no matter what I did. I sat there for maybe 25 seconds, horrified at what just happened. Sonic is the very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who play his game in more ways than one, and then he gets bored. He drags you into the game, literally drags you into hell. He didn't go in there. He was just hanging out. He played the game.
Yeah, that's it.
He didn't get dragged in.
If anything, he's the one that put himself in this situation.
Yeah, this was complete. He could have just turned the computer off, but now it was a virus. Wow, maybe you shouldn't have opened a fucking exe file from a random guy who sent you a CDR in the fucking email. In a jewel case.
And a blank disc that only had Sharpie written on it.
Sonic.exe. That was not any sort of handwriting that you knew. So, wow, man. You really learned a lot in this story. And dude, here's the thing: the virus only kicks in after you beat this stupid fucking game.
Yeah, plenty of time to just opt out.
How pathetic is that?
Unless I need the time for it to cultivate or whatever the fuck it was trying to do.
Mature.
Oh, what is it? There was a word for that.
There is.
It's because of the pandemic. When it cultivates, it needs time for it to spread. This is literally like a hot word in last year.
I'm sure it's a really good word too.
Yeah.
I don't know it though. I know
incubate. Yeah. Everybody needs time to incubate into the actual computer.
There it is. Man, that was a good word, man. That was a good word.
Because while you're traumatized by the character sprites these are going through, it's incubating in the computer, distracting you from the real issue here.
Yeah, it's like when you're playing Pokemon Go and you incubate your egg, and then you got to walk 7 kilometers before that motherfucker hatches.
Yep.
And then you end up with a motherfucking Bidoof or something.
Bidoof is God.
Yeah. We'll agree to disagree on that one. So
this is true.
He's the embodiment of evil. I can't get this game out of my computer. I think it's stuck in there, but at least I managed to turn it back on now. After I sat there for 25 seconds. Just round up, man. I heard a voice behind me, like a whisper. Try to keep this interesting for me, Tom. I turned around to see where the voice came from, and what I saw made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic plushie, smiling with bloodstains under its eyes.
That's the finale?
That's the end.
That's the end?
That's the end.
Not even a real not even hyper-realistic Sonic coming out to say hi?
That was what it was. He got the plushie. He's come into the real world now in plushie form.
Is it hyper-realistic?
I mean, it was just regular blood. It doesn't need to be hyper-realistic.
That's true. Sonic plushie.
Your thoughts?
Had been invested until the end, I'll be honest. The plushie was a little bit of an it undersold me.
It seemed like he really just tried to
it
was a rushed ending, I felt.
Yeah, at the very least he could have, if he was gonna cut it off soon and make it a grand ending or something, like I don't know. Like literally Sonic is coming out glitching from the fucking game.
Zoom in and
crush entering from a different dimension or shit like that. Or maybe it's Kyle. It's like dead body being taken over by Sonic.
Yeah.
And it's like, trying to keep this interesting for me, Tom, but as in Kyle's body.
Well, the thing is, it seems like he really just tried to wrap this story up. Like you already came up with like 10 different ideas that could have worked better. But it seemed like right around here, it seemed like the story was still going to go on for a while. And then it just ends like a couple paragraphs later. And it's like, his computer just turned off, and then he just like explains what the Sonic in this universe is.
Yeah, I mean, even in the beginning of the story, it's already kind of implied that he survived this. He's still alive.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing: it ends on a cliffhanger, but then he wrote this.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
it seems like he's fine if he's writing the whole thing.
Yeah. Now it's just bloody Sonic plush. He's like, "Fuck! Now I got to clean this up."
Yeah. Exactly.
Why couldn't you do this on not on my bed?
Right. Unless the sequel has him actually telling the story about mailing that to some other schmuck, to another best friend.
I'm actually I think it's not the same person.
Really?
That goes through the Sonic.exe.
So it's not a continuation.
I don't believe so.
Oh.
And I think it might not end as nicely.
Is it the same
author? It's the same author.
Oh, okay, I got it.
I mean, same guy made it, but
right.
I think it's the same disc. I think it's the same.
Okay, I'm more concerned with the continuity of the world we're building here.
I know. I'm sorry.
Because right now, the disc is the most important thing right now.
I believe it's the same disc.
Okay.
I don't think it could be a different disc because
unless it's a plushie now.
I don't know if the plushie's mentioned in the next story. To be honest, on the topic of continuity,
right? I
don't know if you're gonna be.
Unless it's like an anthology style where it just gets passed around.
It just gets passed. It's like The Ring, man.
Yeah, exactly. From victim to victim.
So I don't know. Maybe his story isn't done yet.
What rank is this? I need to. What is it ranked at?
More classic creepypasta stories can be found here. Gateway of the Mind, Rugrats Theory, and the Russian Sleep Experiment. One of these is not like the others.
You know, I've actually delved in the Russian Sleep Experiment one. That was an interesting read. Yeah. Like, I mean...
I've heard of it.
Yeah, the TLDR, you know, they had somebody volunteer to have all their senses cut. So you can no longer, you know, all 5 senses can't even touch. So you're just kind of existing as a fucking shell.
So you're just dead. If you can't... Well, no. Oh, yeah, all your senses.
You just can't feel anything. You can't...
So you can think still.
You can still think. Like, that's the only thing that's conscious, which is your consciousness. Yeah. You can't feel anything. You can't even, like, assume that you can't see, you can't hear, you can't smell, you can't taste. You're pretty much in a void except with your own thoughts. And that's sort of kind of the story around that is sort of how being in that state kind of gives you in a different mental position where you can kind of start seeing or feeling and start seeing shit in that void. And it gets kind of freaky.
That's kind of wild. No, that's actually a really cool concept.
Because like if you were to like cut off all your senses, what would that feel like? And also, what would the experience feel like? It's sort of that thought experiment too.
That's pretty crazy, dude. Man, I didn't come here to actually like have a thought experiment. I just came here to read about Sonic. But
yeah, right.
No, that's actually really cool. I should actually read that. This sounds like it'd be pretty good if it wasn't written probably by a 14-year-old.
Yeah, right. So I know at a certain point there was like, you know, the things that the guy started saying or almost like demons or something godly, and then it kind of possessed the body, and it started speaking to the scientists that were like observing him because you know he was just kind of and they also didn't let him sleep because same thing with the Russian sleep experiment. All your senses are cut off and you just stop sleeping. Yeah, so you're just kind of in a manic state the entire time because you can't sleep, you can't rest, and you can't feel shit. Or am I mixing two things up? I think this is it. I think this is it because I remember there was a cutoff. He was cut off in all senses, and then they just wouldn't let him sleep. So he would just be in a terrible state the entire time. Yeah, it's just in like that's wild. I mean, like I always like I've got like a fixation on like death, and it's something I constantly think about, and it's like that seems like pretty something that like that sounds like what close to what death would be like, except with but he doesn't even have his thought. You don't have your thoughts, so. Funny thing is, there is an SCP that revolves around the idea of death. I think it's in there.
I'm sure there is. Like it's one of the most common things that you'd expect.
Yeah, right? It's around the idea is what was it? I think it's an actual. What was the item? I can't remember what the item was, but the idea was that whatever you believe death was, that's what it would actually be for the person. And because the O5 Council, all of them actually went through it, and they all took some sort of pill that made them forget about it because it sort of fucks you up. Because if whatever you think death is, that's what's going to happen to you. So it's kind of like the manifestation thing. And if that's what you're waiting for, you wouldn't want to die. If you're thinking about the worst case scenario, like, what if there is a hell and you actually die, you're going to be actually like in
experiencing that
because you thought about it, because you thought death, that's how it was in general.
But if you think death is cool,
then it'll be cool. Want to die, then it'll be kind of cool for you.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So having that knowledge is kind of already dangerous as it is, depending on how you perceive death.
Yeah. So, if you just knew the existence of that SCP, you could have a pretty cool afterlife. Yeah,
as long as you thought of it that way.
Is that real?
That's an SCP. Yeah.
That's real, though.
What? The SCP? Yes.
Yeah. So if I just... Yeah. Oh, hey, guys. What's up? Hi.
Let's go.
Oh, let's go.
So as long as you think death was a happy thing, then you'll be fine.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sonic.exe.
But yeah, again, a little bit of a rush ending, but also kind of an abrupt one too. It just seemed like
it get whiplash pretty quickly. Like
like it was a lot more
detailed in the first half.
Very detailed. It was very like it was probably written in chunks, definitely. Where it was like bits of inspiration, and then you kind of have to like keep it consistent throughout.
Yeah, and then he was just like, "Hey, we got to finish this fucker."
Yeah,
he was like, "I've been writing this for fucking the betterment of my childhood."
Yeah, definitely could have benefited from a
editor.
So that, but it also could have been benefited if it was like written like in multiple chapters.
Yeah.
So I had time to like cultivate the story even more. If you want to expand past the disc itself, like what happened after the game started shutting off and turned coming back on. Because what are the consequences of having it? You just got a plushie out of it.
Yeah.
Not really overwhelming. A little underwhelming if you ask me.
If you play the game, you end up getting a bloody plushie.
Exactly.
That ruins your bed sheets.
Because then what happened to Kyle then? What did Kyle do differently than this guy?
Dude, seriously, where is Kyle? Like, I mean, it's all speculation. But like, here's the thing: maybe Kyle didn't play through the game, and because of that, he died.
But then when did he write the note then? In the middle of playing it? You think?
No, so he's not dead. Is Kyle dead? I don't know.
I mean, it was pretty insinuated that what was it? Sonic was like, what was it? You're pretty fun, just like your friend Kyle, that kind of thing. I think it was assumed that he was kind of.
Can we talk about the name Tom?
Sure. Like, is this for a kid?
Call him Tommy.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Tom seems like he's a fucking old boomer.
He's like 40 years old.
Yeah, he's got
Sonic.exe.
He's a 2-pack-a-day smoker. Goes into his fucking construction job.
Yeah, it should be at least Tommy or some shit like that.
Tommy.
I was thinking of a kid when I was having all the images in my head, but when I think that his name is Tom, like, yeah, that's what his parents call him.
Yeah,
but that's not what Kyle would call him. Which is, ironically, he did write the note. He should have been Tommy instead of Tom.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, he hasn't heard from him in 2 weeks. I don't know we need to know more context about their friendship.
Yeah,
because
he is their best. He is his best.
He's his best friend, but like, are they the type of friends that like they just kind of talk sometimes, or do they? Is it like an everyday thing? And then he went AWOL for 2 weeks.
True, unless it's like a school thing. He just didn't see him in school for 2 weeks. Unless he's a kid. How do we know? How old this Tom is?
You can make an assumption
because I can only think of a
dude.
Kid.
Maybe Tom's the 45-year-old construction dude, and he just hangs out with like the 13-year-old. They bond over Sonic stuff.
Probably, there are those fanfic groups,
Yeah, I mean,
and Kyle just happened to get like a bad batch of a bad disc, and then wrote him a letter. Of all things, not a text message.
A letter. He fucking wrote his ass a letter, dude. This shit was in like, let's assume it's in 2013, right?
Yeah. Still, letter, like,
I mean, dude, there's phones, bro,
or even email. Just do an email
dude, email, bro. Like
even that's like a minimum. Like a letter, I mean, I get it. It's kind of meta for the horror genre, kind of making it more authentically creepy.
It's like when you walk through someone's house and you just find journal entries everywhere.
Oh, journaling I think was a little bit different though.
I mean, it's like Resident Evil. It's like you're going through your fucking house or something. It's like, I found my journal entry of from this date or whatever. It's like
January 3rd, 1984.
Who are you playing?
The experiments are successful. Like, who just leaves this shit everywhere?
Yeah.
Very investive story. I like it.
Sonic.exe, man.
Yeah. Someone needs to make a hyper realistic version of that. With the black eyes, red dot eyes.
I think they do have it.
Or somebody made it out of the Sonic.
I can look that up later, but we'll save that for when I have a mixer.